About the principle of harmonious construction. This is an essential rule for the interpretation of laws. The principle of harmonious construction states that when there is a conflict between two or more statutes or between different parts or provisions of a statute, we should interpret them in such a way that they are harmonious. That is, when there are discrepancies, we should try to establish harmony between the conflicting parts so that one part does not negate the purpose of the other. It is rooted in the fundamental legal principle that every statute is made with a specific purpose and intention. But when two provisions are contradictory, it may not be possible to enforce both of them, and as a result, one is contrary to the established basic principle of ut res magis valet quam perit. It is better for a thing to have an effect than for it to become void. Therefore, the court should interpret the statutes in a manner that removes the inconsistency and enables both the provisions to work together harmoniously. The aim of this principle is to make all the provisions effective. If it is impossible to harmoniously interpret or harmonize the various parts or provisions, it is the responsibility of the judiciary to take the final decision. The doctrine of harmonious construction originated from the landmark judgment of Shri Shankari Prasad Singh DOV Union of India, 1951, when a conflict was found between fundamental rights and the DPSP. Governing principle of harmonious construction. In the landmark case of Commissioner of Income Tax versus MS Hindustan Bulk Carriers, 2000, the Supreme Court had established 5 fundamental principles to govern the rule of harmonious construction. Courts should make every effort to avoid conflicts between seemingly conflicting provisions and attempt to interpret these provisions in a manner that will harmonize them. A provision of one section of a statute should not be used to override a provision of another section unless the court is unable, despite hard work, to find some way of reconciling their differences. In cases where it is impossible to completely resolve inconsistencies between provisions, courts should interpret them in a manner that makes both provisions effective to the maximum extent possible. Courts should consider whether an interpretation that makes a provision redundant or worthless is against the essence of harmonious construction and should be avoided. Reconciling two conflicting provisions means preserving any statutory provision and not destroying or making it ineffective.